Welcome, nature lovers, forest bathers, and eco warriors. It's Nick from Nick's Nature Walks, episode 3, and we're a week on from the last episode, and we are going to take a walk and find wild leeks and find out what else we can see along the way. I'm just showing you buds that are really swelling now, and so we're not that far off from trees leafing out. In fact, some poplar trees are already leafing out. You can just hear a robin in the background, whether you can hear it or not. And then as always, we have Arlo, who's very keen to get going, so come walk with me. Today is, as I said, the day before International Earth Day, and you will see as I'm panning around here spots of green through the trees here, and those spots of green are wild leeks. And we must have a nest, and if you can just see through here, you see that bird flying through. That is a turkey vulture that I saw earlier today. It just saws on the thermals. We have turkey vultures that sit on our barn roof and spread their wings out to get the heat of the sun. Oh, it's flying around here. Can't go as quickly as it's going. And I saw earlier today about a dozen of them just soaring. And then earlier today as well, we have a sandhill crane that seems to have taken up residence on our field just behind me, which was really nice to see. And as I said, these are the wild leeks that are coming through, and I'm going to talk to you about wild leeks. They are a member of the onion family, allium. They're also related to amaryllis, and amaryllis from holiday season when we buy them and put them in our houses coming up to the holiday season. And these wild leeks will last. Oh, here we go. I showed you last week blood root. I was talking about it as bloodwort, and it should be blood root. Apologies for that. And also right here is meadow-rue that's just coming out. See there? And I believe meadow-rue is relative of buttercup family. Going back to wild leeks, and oh, sorry, I'm going to interrupt yet again. Just in here, you'll just see this. That's a mayapple. And so they're like umbrellas. They'll have a big stem, and then the leaves that you'll just see here leaf out like a big umbrella, and they have this beautiful like waxy white flower underneath it. Okay, sorry, I'm getting really distracted here because so much going on in a short space of time. Remember I was talking to you about trout lilies? Well, here we are. Here's a trout lily. And in the background, you might be able to hear a red-bellied woodpecker. Interestingly, when you see this is a wild leek bunch here, the trout lily and the wild leeks are related, part of the onion family. So wild leeks emerge this time of year, very green leaves. They will be like this for probably a week. I want to say 10 days to a month, depending on the weather. When they first emerged, we were taking the tips of the leaves as they emerged, and I'm just going to take one now. And when we first were nibbling on them, they were peppery, spicy, and there was a bit of heat to the plant. And now they're milder. Certainly, you can tell they're part of the onion family. They're, I'd say, a cross between leeks, onion, and garlic. Very fragrant, very subtle, very aromatic, and they are great in stir fries, salads. We make a pesto with it, put them in pasta. Now, just a word of caution. In Quebec, they are now very scarce. Because they've been over harvested, and so like anything, one, you need to make sure that you know what they are. And two, be very mindful that if you are going out about looking for wild leeks, that we're not over harvesting, because we want to make sure we maintain them. They're an indigenous species. We want to preserve them, and we don't want to over harvest so that they disappear or become few and far between. But they're just such a taste of spring. And I'm just going to pan up just to see if we can hear the red-bellied woodpecker. Can't see it at the moment, but it has a distinctive call. And they nest, there's a tree, I don't know whether you can see it through there, it's got a hole in it, and they'll nest in trees. I know we spotted last year a family of red-bellied woodpeckers nesting out and flying around a tree. So they may have found another spot, or it could be another group of them. So when you dig up wild leeks, they are very much like a very thin, like scallion spring onion, and you just have to really dig them up very carefully. But you'll see they're just everywhere. There's patches of them everywhere. Just beautiful. And once they finish leafing, the leaves die back and a flower emerges on a tall stem, very much like an onion when it flowers, if you allow your onions to flower. And then it dies back, and that's it. You don't see them until next year. So it's a very short growing season above the soil. Another patch there. And we have to appreciate them while they're here. Oh, another patch here. As they are suddenly very bright green and wonderful. And I'm just going to pan up because the tree canopy, we have a mixture of maple, beech, ash, and unfortunately, as I mentioned, I think it's episode 1, is really disappearing. And we have bitter nut in here as well. As I'm panning around, you might see trees that have like little ties on them, and that's sort of signifying specific species of tree that we want to conserve. So I'm just going through here. See that maple over there, have an interesting burl on it. Yeah. We have birch in here, hemlock. It's a hemlock, nice fresh green. And the hemlock, in the wintertime, we often get porcupines living in them. They like roosting in hemlock. And when trees fall down, we typically leave them. And we also allow trees to stand if they're dying back, because that's where pileated woodpeckers make their nests, or woodpeckers make their nests. And so we want to preserve that natural environment, that wildlife habitat, so that we have a range of wildlife and species in our property. So I'm just going to go down to another waterway, and that's where we're going to take our mindful moment again. And look at this beautiful, oh my gosh, look at that, look at that moss growing. Can you see it? Wow, look at that, new growth on there, amazing. Look at the texture of that. Wow. You just want to sort of touch it, soft. But that's from an old tree trunk. Isn't that amazing? Incredible. There's a different grass here. I have to look that up, see what that is. But grass is flowering already. Look at that. So I want to show you this tree. You can see the holes in it. And that is a pileated woodpecker's work that basically has just created those cavities in there. And when it was first doing it, there were chunks of wood on the ground, the base of the tree, from where the woodpecker was just going at it. Amazing. And so in those cracks, you may see some little rodents living. And here we go down to this area. Notice I just dropped a glove there. It wasn't very bright. So this is an area where we have marsh marigolds, and I'm just going to see if I can home in. You can just see their flower heads coming, and you may not have caught that, but in the background you may have heard a thumping sound, and that's a grouse, and their mating sound is the male grouse beats its wings against like a fallen tree trunk. And it sounds like a tractor starting. And when we first moved here many years ago, we were thinking somebody's got a problem with a tractor, but it's not, it's the grouse, it's his mating call. So this is where we're going to do our mindful minute. And just before we do our mindful minute, I want to reflect on the land that we are on, coming into International Earth Day, and thinking about the indigenous peoples. And this is their land, this is their ancestral land, and that I'm a settler on this land, and I have a responsibility to be a good steward of this land, and that the land that I'm on is associated with the Williams Treaty and the Rice Lake Purchase. And I want to acknowledge the indigenous peoples of Curve Lake First Nation, Alderville First Nation, Hiawatha First Nation, and Mississaugas of Schuylkill Island, and also Métis and Inuit peoples. And that we're on Turtle Island. And as we take a mindful minute, let's reflect on that, and how we can be good stewards of the land, and how it's important to give back to our land that we live on. Okay, so as we wrap up, I'm just going to take you through and out of the woods. More turtle, more trout lilies here. So I just want to say thank you for taking that mindful moment and reflecting on the land that we are on, and how important it is that we take care of our land, and that as part of taking care of it, we can really appreciate what's there. You know, even in this very short period of time, the amazing things that we've seen, and that we'll continue to see over the next few weeks and into the summer months, and all round the year. And remember, talking about those micro seasons. If you think about what we've seen today, 7 or so days after last week's episode, the change in that micro season, right? So, as we look forward to the week ahead, look forward to more of nature in episode 4, I want to say say thank you to you again for joining me, for going on this walk, taking time. I wish you well. Find some stillness and peace and reflection and calm in your life. And thank you once again for joining me and Arlo on Nick's Nature Walks. Take care.